Okay, I want to talk about just a couple things here. I want to talk about some upgrades. If people are thinking about doing upgrades, what makes the biggest difference? And so I want to kind of run through just some of my past experiences and kind of talk about what they each cost. Um, the Brembo brakes are amazing, so you don't have to worry about doing anything to the brakes. The hydraulic clutch is great, no issues there. I did, in the first hour, I had just a really easy tip over, but it bent the aluminum levers that they come with. And so I always go to the ASV unbreakable levers. They can fold back and it just prevents them from breaking off. It also makes the clutch pull a little bit easier. And, that's just some of personal preference. So people may or may not enjoy that or see the reason to spend the extra money. The FCP motor mounts. So those were $429, I believe they were. I'm sorry, I'm just looking to see. It almost looks like the one backed out a little bit. I'll have to recheck them and check the torque. But anyway, the FCP motor mounts definitely adds to the ability to turn. It allows it to lay over into the corners better. And the titanium head bolt, which you can see up there, that gives it better front end traction. So those together, $429. The next thing I did to it, Ktm Connectivity Unit. To me, when I first started riding the bike, it had a lot of engine braking, and I hated that. And even more so than my Yamaha YZ450FX. So I purchased this at a local dealer. It was $249. They say that you need to go ahead and have them installed at the dealership. Well, really, the only thing that the dealership is doing is they're ensuring that you have the latest firmware update. And so it's a plug and play after that. If you have a 21 model and you have an XC-F, it will work. You just have to designate in the KTM app that you download on your phone, designate that it's an SXF model instead of the XC-F, and it will still work the same because all of the electronics and the motor and everything is exactly the same on the XC-F and the SXF. Next thing I did to it, Yoshimura RS12. Obviously, to ride in the woods, you have to have a spark arrestor. I was looking for an FMF 4.1 to just put on there, just to slip on with the spark arrestor. And crazy times, it's COVID, nobody had one. So the only thing that I could find was actually a full exhaust system. And I haven't ridden it with the factory exhaust, so I can't say that it makes a huge improvement, but every Yosh that I put on my other bikes obviously opened it up and made it flow a lot better. So really enjoy that and love the tone of the sound too. Other than that, the tires, the Dunlop MX53s, I love those compared to the Dunlop AT81s. Better traction. The AT81 probably has its place, and that would be maybe in like the wet, rocky areas. It does give it a little better traction, but they also have a really soft carcass, and that's probably what makes it so good in that condition. But they don't hold up really well when it comes to like this slick stuff. It allows it to flex too much, and you just kind of lose traction. Also, the Dunlop AT81 front, always had an issue with the front end trying to pull up out of the ruts or climb out of the ruts, and I hated that as well. So there again, Dunlop AT81s, I got them in front and back, and have been extremely happy with the way they're performing. They seem to be holding up well. I had them on a KTM 250XC model that I had, the two-stroke, and they were really well on that as well. So anyway, love that. But there again, tires, obviously you can find anybody to get the tires through. I usually get my parts through RockyMountainATVMC.com, and they've been very competitive with everybody else. They usually have stuff in stock. It's a quick turnaround, usually 2 to 3 days. Yeah, maybe say, 2 to 4 days, just depending on where it's coming from, because they have different warehouses. But that, the connectivity unit, like I said, $250 on that, $429 on the engine mounts. The Yoshimura full system was $729. And then the unbreakable levers, the clutch perch, I think it was $160. And then I think it's like $89 for the brake lever. But anyway, that's the upgrades I've done to the bike. I did put on a carbon fiber skid plate. That unfortunately does add a little bit to the noise of the motor, and the 350 motor is actually pretty loud to begin with. Not exhaust, but just the motor itself. So those are the upgrades, and if anybody has any questions and want to know more information about how they perform, I should say I did add the factory connection link system there, and that made an improvement with the braking bumps and then also rear wheel traction. And then the biggest upgrade that I've done is the forks. So those are Del Saggio spheres. It's a spring fork conversion. That in itself probably made the biggest difference for front end traction. Should say rear wheel traction, not rear wheel, I'm sorry, front end traction. It takes the harshness out of the bumps, has a lot better hold up. They're plush, they have bottoming resistance. So all around, that was just a huge improvement. They are expensive, about $2,100 to do it. But it was a huge improvement, and I actually like these better than my KYB forks that I got on my or I have on my YZ450FX. So if you guys have any questions, please send me a comment. Take the time to like and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and share this with one of your friends. Have a great day.